Thank you, gentlemen. And now I have the great pleasure of having Paul Hughes, chairman of the Nova Green Party, here with me today. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Good to be here.
Now, Paul, there's a lot happening with the Green Party nationally, and you just returned from a convention in Baltimore. Tell us what happened.
Well, it's very exciting. People from, I think there was like 40 some states represented. And we did come out of that very amicably with a new vice presidential nominee, agreement on the platform and many issues across the board. We feel like we've really got a strong ticket that can have an impact in this election and here locally in Virginia.
The presidential election. We've already started to see the ads back and forth, Mitt Romney, Barack Obama, but there hasn't been much said about the candidate Jill Stein. Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, she's a physician who internal medicine. She's practiced in inner city community health center. She's still an active doctor, practicing physician. But she really has been into the whole national health care, Medicare for all sort of movement. But I think she really was turned off with this debacle last summer with the debt issue and the country going all the way to the edge.
Now that's interesting. She's put her hat in the race now, but she's run for office before, and she's no stranger to one of the candidates. In fact, she ran against Mitt Romney.
She is from Massachusetts. I think she's run for delegate once. She ran for governor, I believe, twice, if I'm not mistaken, and actually did so well in one of the campaigns in the debates that she was disinvited to subsequent debates. So that kind of tells you that there was some concern on Romney's part that she not return.
Well, it's interesting. She has a strong platform. I've looked at it. There are some real spotlights, but she calls it the Green New Deal.
Right.
And you're in a green business yourself. Tell me, how would a Green New Deal affect jobs in this country?
Well, it would start converting them from things that are unsustainable in the long term. We're talking about massive expenditures on military hardware and ships and everything else, and trying to convert that more to less dependency on oil, more renewable energy, even energy conservation in both residential and commercial sectors. And there's who knows how many hundreds of thousands of jobs, millions of jobs probably, in the manufacture of solar and wind and geothermal, other kinds of renewable energy, let alone going in and making all the existing houses more comfortable and more weatherized.
You know, a lot of people are concerned about jobs. Over the past 4 years, there hasn't been much discussion about the environment, but Jill has a strong environmental platform, and it seems to resonate with a lot of the youth.
It does, and I think a lot of youth are realizing that the current generation is leaving them with a planet that is in pretty bad shape, and they're going to be the inheritors of it. They're going to have to live in it, and we will have all moved on. And I think they're coming to that realization that they've got to do something about it now. Even this you wonder with all the hot weather that we've had, if this isn't, obviously to many of us, the beginning of some of the major climatic weather changes that we're going to see more of.
It's true. She talks about that tipping point. It reminds me, it's reminiscent of things that Al Gore said years ago, but not things that we hear from Barack Obama these days. Now, something else about the youth that I think my daughters would be very excited about, what does she think about student loans and our generation of indentured servants?
That's exactly what it is. They come out so heavily in debt that they can only go to work for some of the large multinational corporations or financial institutions in order to earn enough money to pay back their loans. I talked with a woman in her early 30s a couple months ago who was coming out of law school, had been out about 2 years, $150,000 in debt. And she was going to have to work for in the corporate law field, which was not her first choice by any means. She wanted to do public interest kind
environmental
of thing.
Policy or something. Well, so Jill wants to forgive the debt.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of students entered into this without full understanding. All this consumer fairness and reporting and disclosure was not in place when they were just thrown credit cards and, you know, applications for debt and everything else. And a lot of them didn't. They thought they were helping their parents out by not drawing on their wealth or lack thereof and doing it independently. And now it's got them in trouble. And as you say, it's put them in indentured servitude, perhaps for most of their working adult life.
Now, in addition to appealing to the youth, there's a huge debate on health care. And I think Jill Stein, to my understanding, was even critical of Mitt Romney's health care plan in Massachusetts. She does believe in universal health care.
She does indeed. And as you know, Barack Obama took that off the table in the discussion of the affordable health care plan. And even up in Massachusetts, by no means are 100% of the people covered. So a lot is still left undone.
Well, there's one thing we definitely have to cover, because politics is big in this area and people are afraid of the third-party spoiler. What is your take on a third-party candidate coming in and shaking things up?
Well, for starters, I don't look at it as a third party. I view it as an alternative candidate, and as far as I know, there's nothing in the Constitution that limits this country to two parties. I mean, you've got more choices of cereal in the supermarket than you do candidates for the highest office, you know, and heading the leader of the free world. And we're down to two every year, and there are two that other people have selected. With the third party, or alternative party, as we call it, we have a say. We were instrumental in getting her on the ballot and can have an effect.
Well, you know what I think is so honorable is that the Green Party does not take outside money from corporations.
That's
only
correct.
Individuals.
That is correct.
So it's up to individuals to choose our president in the coming election, and I appreciate you coming here and talking a little bit about Jill Stein. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Sustainable Scoop.